Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video where I will be ranking all 4 movies in the MonsterVerse. Before I get started ranking these, I do want to say that this is my opinion and this is in no way the correct ranking list because all of these lists are opinionated. So I would love to hear what your ranking of these lists are. I don't know what the most popular rankings are, so I'm very excited to hear what each of your rankings are. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So coming in last place is Godzilla King of the Monsters. And when this movie came out, I was really excited for it. And this one just looked awesome. And it had Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga in the cast list. And I was sold because I love both of them so much. I'm very disappointed to say that in my opinion, Vera Farmiga's character is the weakest part of this movie and what really brings it down to the last place. From the beginning all the way until the end, I found her extremely unlikable and just super annoying. Her character, Dr. Emma Russell, is honestly in my opinion one of the worst characters in all of the MonsterVerse movies. I think she's just so poorly written and you see her trying her best to act and she does give a good performance, but the script is just off. I think her character work is so bad and I did not care at all what happened to her, which is really terrible because she's one of the leading human characters in this movie, so having me not care about it is like probably not a good sign. She has this character trope where she's like the crazy out of this world character because she does things that are questionable, and for the most part I enjoy when characters are like that because usually they redeem themselves or they have a really good reason why they're like that, and in this case, no, her character is not good in my opinion. But this is a Godzilla movie, so did Godzilla deliver? In my opinion, he did. I think he is really good in this movie, and I also like seeing the other monsters, and the fight scenes are good and there are some really awesome shots in this movie. It's still not enough to save this boring movie in my opinion because it's one of the longest in the MonsterVerse, and when I tell you I felt the runtime, I felt the runtime. I do want to say that from this point on, 3 to 1, I really enjoy these movies and I honestly see myself rewatching all of these. I mean, I did rewatch all of these because I had seen them prior to doing this ranking, and coming in number 3 is Godzilla. Like I said, even though this is in 3rd place, I still really enjoy this movie and I don't understand a lot of the hate that this movie gets. Unlike Godzilla King of the Monsters, this movie has amazing human characters and I think they're some of the best, if not the best, in any MonsterVerse movie. I genuinely cared for them and I think they did a really good job with the way they edited the scenes and paralleled situations where I actually cared for this family even if I didn't know that much about all of them. For example, I think the best character in the movie is definitely Bryan Cranston's character. I think he was awesome, and that's what I mean that this movie really made me feel for the characters and made me have a connection because I think with his character and his son, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, they did a phenomenal job and I loved seeing them together. However, I'm gonna give us a little spoiler warning here where the spoilers are gonna stop in case you haven't seen this movie, but I wish his character wouldn't have died as soon as it happened. I hadn't seen this movie since I first saw it like a long time ago and I forgot how early his death scene was, and I think his death totally works because it plays a lot into Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, but I wish it didn't happen that soon. I think they could have definitely done this in the 3rd act and it happened probably 40 minutes into the movie, which I think was a waste of an actor and wasted potential in my opinion. And I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is fine in the movie, but I definitely think when the movie was just him, the movie definitely suffered a little bit. Back to positives because I do like this movie. I love the dark tone that this movie has and I love that they set up Godzilla to be something and then when he does come out, he's completely something else. I adore that about this movie, and I think the reason this movie is so much better than the other Godzilla movie I just talked about is because it knows what it's doing and Gareth Edwards knew what type of tone the movie wanted to have, whereas Godzilla King of the Monsters it didn't feel like it knew what it was doing. I actually do wish more of the MonsterVerse movies had this tone because I think with these monsters, especially, I'll talk about that later with Kong Skull Island, there's a lot of potential to be a really dark franchise, and I think what was started here, this tone, if it would have kept on going, I think it could have made the MonsterVerse much better in my opinion. And the movie is really tense. Like, I genuinely get anxious watching this movie, and again, I just really like that about it because I think Godzilla is so menacing and so scary looking, and just the whole premise of these MonsterVerse movies lends itself easily to be dark, and I honestly really praise Gareth Edwards for doing that. His direction was awesome. Also, this movie sounds amazing. It really works well with the scenes. And when Godzilla does come out, he sure does come out. I'm a little bit in the middle of whether I like that he came out so late or not. And the movie had like 20-30 minutes left until it ended, and that's when Godzilla came out, and I was really shocked because I didn't remember it being that late into the movie. One, I think it works a little bit because imagining what Godzilla looks like and all of that is even better than seeing him really early on. But I do think they could have brought him in a little bit earlier, but I think I'm kind of in the middle. I think if Godzilla honestly could have been a little bit earlier, this would have been higher, but the awesomeness of Godzilla is there, and he really did deliver in this movie. So coming in second place is Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, when I went to do this ranking before I rewatched the other ones, I thought this was going to be my favorite, because when I entered the movie, I was like, oh, this is my favorite MonsterVerse because it was the funnest. I really enjoyed myself. But things have changed, and I do have a full review of this up on my channel if you guys want to check it out. I'm not going to go too in depth in this video, but if you want to see my full spoiler-free thoughts, then I'm going to link that video down below and put it up somewhere in the iCard for you guys to watch as soon as this video ends. But this movie is just fun, and that's why I love it so much. I just enjoyed myself. I guess there were a lot of silly things that happened, but I don't know, I still think it was really, really good. And the CGI was incredible. I think this is the best looking MonsterVerse movie for sure. And in the big screen, it was just fantastic, and I loved Kong in this movie so much. I think he really delivered, and also Godzilla did pretty good too. I'm just much more of a bigger Kong fan. I do think if this movie was more balanced, because I expected it to be a little more balanced between Kong and Godzilla, I think this movie could have been in first place, because when I think about it more, I think the movie definitely favored one side, and I think one side of the team had a better storyline than the other one. And I think if it was just balanced, it would have definitely been higher. But at the same time, it didn't really take away my viewing experience of the movie, because I liked the side that the movie picked. But it was a little bit strange that for a versus movie, it was gonna just lean on one side more. But still, I think the movie is awesome. I also really like the soundtrack, and surprisingly, the human characters didn't really annoy me that much, which is really awesome in these type of movies. And coming in first place is, yep, Kong Skull Island. After rewatching the movie, I went on Letterboxd to see what people thought, and some people gave it like 2-3 stars, and I really like this movie. I've loved this movie since it came out, and once it was like my comfort movie, honestly. Like, I just really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I'm a massive fan of this cast too. Like, the characters, the human characters aren't the best in the MonsterVerse movies at all. They have like minimal depth. I think 1 or 2 characters are given more attention, and you get to understand them and their motivations and stuff. But for the most part, the human characters are just there, but I still like them and have fun with them. And surprisingly, a lot of people die in this movie, which I did not remember. Like, there was so much death in this movie, and it's shown so much, and it kind of gives me like Jurassic Park vibes, honestly. I really like John C. Reilly in this movie. I think he's definitely the best of the cast members. Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson are also great, but I think his character brings the most humor. Like, every time he's on screen, I think it's a really good scene. And again, this movie understands what type of movie it's trying to be. It's very silly and very different than the previous Godzilla. Godzilla is very intense, and this one feels very funny and lighthearted in a way. And what I was talking about before, I do always imagine this movie though, like, Skull Island is terrifying. Imagine if this movie had the tone of Godzilla. I think the movie could have honestly been a lot better, but I like fun movies, and this one is fun, and that's why it's in my number 1. I also really like the visuals. I think the cinematography here is really pretty, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but there are a lot of really awesome shots of Kong, and when Kong comes out, which is super early in the movie, it's awesome when he's like holding the helicopters and throwing them everywhere. I love that so much, and I love how we get to see from inside the helicopter just how big Kong is. I think it's awesome. I also think Kong and Brie Larson's character show really awesome character traits, and I also like some of the commentary that Brie Larson's character does about war and all of that, and I think there's some commentary in here that's good. I think it could have definitely been explored a little bit more, but for what there is, I think it was pretty good. And I also like seeing the monsters on the island. We got to see some other creatures, and I thought that was excellent as well. I always love seeing in these MonsterVerse movies more than Kong and Godzilla, and I think in this one we got to see really interesting scenes and scenarios with these characters and these monsters that I enjoyed. And the final battle of the movie is pretty awesome in my opinion, and I just genuinely really enjoy myself with this movie. I also like that the movie is set in the past, because all of the other movies in the MonsterVerse are set, I think, in the present, and this one being set in the past, I thought it was very interesting and I enjoyed it. It's interesting in the universe of the MonsterVerse, how much this exploration has been going on, and also just talks about Hollow Earth and all of that. I think it's cool seeing it from a perspective of people back in the day. Honestly, the reason it's a number 1 is because it's the funnest. Sure, it's not perfect and not the best movie in the entire world, but I genuinely always have a smile on my face when I see this, especially one of the scenes where Brie Larson's character like touches Kong, and it's very cute, and the music is playing, which, by the way, the movie also sounds epic. And yeah, that's honestly why it's in my number 1. I absolutely adore this movie, and this one in my opinion is the most rewatchable. I have seen this movie so many times that I cannot even count. I know this movie by memory, but every time I rewatch it, I'm still excited to check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and don't forget to comment down below what is your MonsterVerse ranking. I would love to hear it, and I'm very curious to see if some of you guys guys are also really big Kong Skull Island fans. And that's about it for today's video, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and make sure to follow me on all of my social medias. It'll be linked down below. I'm always talking to you guys on there and interacting. I love interacting with you guys, so make sure to do that. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.